So we are standing in front of Newtown Heights, and these are 60 units. It's going to turn into 84 units for the elderly. You yourself, you have some knowledge of some of the history that went into these buildings. You know, some of the families you knew that lived here. I don't know if your family lived here. Can you just talk to me about, you know, some of the history here?
Well, I actually lived in Reed Court Apartment 43. My parents lived there for a couple years until they got on their feet and was able to purchase a home. And a little further north in Newtown, I have abundance of friends and relatives that have actually lived in these buildings and have went on and built their own homes and grew out here. When they started these, they weren't made for permanent living. They were made for stepping stones for families to get their feet under them and be able to go out and purchase homes and live like everybody else in the American dream. So this served what that purpose was well.
Yeah. So, I mean, it should be interesting. Sarasota is just continuing to grow and change, and I guess this is just part of it.
It's part of it, and when there's happenings in Newtown, that's encouraging, because we see everything going on around us. And, you know, this had to go. It was time for a change. And,
yeah, they said no central AC. There was like a bunch of different.
And, you know, like I said, it was built in 1941 with 1941 construction. If you look at the flat roofs and things of that nature, I remember them having what they called solar heating up there, but it was just solar water heating. And when the sun went down, you had no hot water. So this is going to be a great upgrade for the senior population, which is getting bigger by the day. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thanks. Newtown Heights was built in 1941. With that being said, you can imagine how many families and how many people lived in these 60 units that are now turning into dust. Before I met up with Walter Gilbert, I met up with William Russell III, who is the CEO and president of the Sarasota Housing Authority. He gave me some insight on what is going on with the project. Can you just talk to me about what I'm seeing right now?
Yeah, so this is the site of, the address here is 1912 North Orange Avenue. The old name for this development was Newtown Heights, and it was completed in about 1941. So it's a very old, you know, apartment community. It's become physically obsolete. No central air. You can see with the roof lines, there's no space for ductwork or anything like that in the units. So, you know, we're making way for new, comfortable, energy efficient housing with all the modern amenities that, you know, you and I would expect to find in an apartment community now. We're also going to increase the number of apartments on the site. We're going to go from 60 to 84. They will be elderly apartments, so you know, we're excited about that. We think there's a real need for affordable senior housing here in Sarasota. So this is the first step. We're going to take these 60 apartments down as we speak, and then clear the site and make way for the new development to go and be developed.
The 84 units being built will be called Amaryllis Park. If you don't know much about history in Sarasota, you might not see a problem with it. I didn't understand why there would be a problem with the name Amaryllis Park, but Walter Gilbert enlightened me.
And we found out that the name of the development is going to be Amaryllis Park. And we have some questions that we're asking concerning that, simply because this is not Amaryllis Park. This area of Newtown is known officially as Newtown Heights. Amaryllis Park is a complete another subdivision that's on the northern end of Newtown. And we're just wondering why they picked that name when there was a whole bunch of different names that could have been considered. They could have even stayed with the Newtown Heights name. So we're questioning why that was the name they came up with. Considering that all the courts that's around here are named after black individuals that are famous in history. Specifically over here is Reed Court, and Mays Court. We have Carver Court, Bethune Court, and Gore Court. All those courts are named after black individuals that was prominent in history. So we don't understand why some of those names wasn't considered before picking a name that is not actually in this community, in this part of the Newtown community.
Is there a way to change the name?
Yeah, it's a way of changing the name. All you do is erase the name that's on there and put another name in. I mean, it's not an act of Congress that needs to happen. You know, I've spoken to other organizations and members of the community and leaders of the community, and they wasn't aware of what was happening with the naming of this, and just some questions that are being asked, and we're hoping to get some good answers.
Okay, and you were talking about having like a tenant appreciation ceremony. Is that still something?
We have something tentatively planned for a tenant appreciation. You know, when we saw them tearing it down and their plans, it was like just going to tear it down and not have anything to honor all the people that came through this housing project during that time from 1941 to today. There's a lot of people that lived here and have a lot of great memories here, so I think a tenant appreciation day would be warranted.
Okay. And anything else you want to share?
Just we're hoping for the best from this. We're 100% behind it. These things have been here, these buildings I should say, have been here since 1941. They was long overdue for an upgrade, and they just got to the point where an upgrade wouldn't even have helped. So it's time for them to go and a better project to be installed.